Well, hello, Manistee County, and welcome to this episode of Politics is Local. I'm John Helge.
And I'm Nate Markham.
And we're happy today because we've got a guest with us. We're going to be talking to Eric Lampinen in a few minutes, and he's got a lot to tell us about what's going on. But we want you to know what's going on this next week. On Tuesday, that's the 17th of June, starting at 10 o'clock at the Lakeside Cafe in Bear Lake. We're going to be joined by Michigan Secretary of State and Michigan Governor candidate Jocelyn Benson. So, if you've got any opportunity at all, please join us there, but you better get there early. It's going to be an SRO event, but we really want to see as many people there as possible. Secretary Benson wants to listen to people especially in Manistee County about what our concerns and issues are. So this is a great opportunity to meet up close and personal with a candidate for governor of the state of Michigan. Then on Thursday night, the Manistee County Democratic Party is holding our annual Strawberry Social.
Yeah.
You like strawberries?
Love strawberries.
I love strawberries. I love ice cream. I love everything about it. It's going to start at 6 o'clock. It's in Arcadia, right off M22, and it'll be in the Finch Park, which is right across the street from the Township Hall. Just off M22. So we hope you can be there. I'm excited too because we're going to have one of the four candidates that's already thrown their hats in the ring to beat John Molnar. And this guy is Benjamin Ambrose, and Ben is going to talk to us about his plans, and he wants to listen to the people of Manistee County. So this is a great opportunity for you to get out, meet a candidate, and do some socializing with people that have very much the same opinions that we all do, right, Nate?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You got something going on.
Yeah, we have a fundraiser for the Manistee Teen Center and Skate Park. It's on June 22nd. That's a Sunday from 1 to 5. The big fundraiser is a raffle with all sorts of prizes from local businesses. We have skateboards. We have 4 skateboards to give away from Gordy's Skate Shop in Ludington. We have a drone donated by Marianne's Antiques and gift certificates from places like J. Catlett Barber Shop, Port City Brew, the Golden Stag, and many more. Please come out and support the skate park.
Boy, hey, those are some of the favorite things. I can see myself, having to go to the ATM a few times, just to support you. It's going to be a great event. Thank you so much. It's part of your organization that you're starting here. You want to talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, this is held by the Manistee Creative Alliance. We're a nonprofit organization that just seeks to help the arts and better the community in general. This is our first event, and we hope to have a good turnout.
Oh, it'll be great. It'll be a great turnout. And again, that's a beautiful skate park, but it needs work right now, right?
Yeah, they need resurfacing. They could even use new ramps. The kids still use it, but it isn't ideal right now. They need to resurface the whole thing. There is a grant match where they need to raise a certain amount of money, and then the grant will donate the rest of the money needed to resurface the park.
Oh, super. Sounds great. Again, a lot of good stuff going on, Nate.
Really an incredible time.
It is. It's an incredible time, and again, we're taping this podcast right now on Friday the 13th, which I think is lucky because starting tomorrow we're going to have our No Kings rally here in Manistee, and I know that's going to be wonderful. I just want to put out to everybody: be safe, be careful, and but be celebratory because we deserve as Americans to be able to freely express our feelings and our thoughts. And that's the best opportunity we've got. I'm expecting to see a lot of people with their signs and, assembling here. All over the state of Michigan. It's going to be something else.
All over the country.
Yeah. So again, a lot going on, a lot of good stuff, but boy, there's been some history. You've had a busy couple of weeks, Eric.
Very busy, very busy.
It's wonderful. Well, Eric, I'm very proud that you were selected as the 2nd Congressional District, Male Legacy Award winner for 2025.
Right.
And very well deserved, Eric. You do so much to help, progressive politics here in Manistee County and also statewide. So part of that was you got to go to the Legacy Dinner in Detroit.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about it. What happened?
Here's part of the interesting thing is It was the second time that I've been to the Ren Center. The very first time was 47 years ago on my honeymoon. When after we got married, the Ren Center had just opened, and we went down there for a couple nights for our honeymoon. So this was an opportunity to go back to the legacy dinner, and we actually tried to reproduce a couple of the pictures that we took when we were down there the first time. So it was a lot of fun. And there were, I think, 1,200 people at the legacy dinner. There was 120 tables of 10 people each. And Pat and I went down there on Saturday, and we stayed overnight. And it was a great dinner. There was a ton of great speakers. Curtis Hertel was there. Attorney General was there. Garland Gilchrist was there. Secretary of State was there. Jim Blanchard, Gary Peters. I mean, we just had, and then the keynote speaker was J.B. Pritzker. And I don't know if you've ever heard him speak, but he's an amazing, amazing speaker.
The governor of the state of Illinois.
Right.
Came over here and spoke at our legacy dinner.
Yep.
Did he light us up? Did he light it up?
Oh,
pretty
he
good?
did. He's just an incredible speaker. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. I sat with Brian Watson, who we met last summer at the picnic, who did the book Democrats 101. He was at the table with me, and Peggy Raditz was there too with her granddaughter. And it was a wonderful evening. You know, there was so many people. I didn't really get a chance to meet any of the the Democratic people from the state, but the next day as I was leaving the hotel, I was standing out waiting for my car to come, and Curtis Hertel walked out. So I introduced myself to Curtis and said hi and thanks for speaking, and it was a great weekend, great night.
Curtis Hertel, for those folks that don't know, is our current, he is the chair of the Michigan Democratic Party. And I got to give Curtis a lot of credit. He is really working hard, to support us out here in rural Michigan also. And, he's got a big job. I think one of the biggest jobs he's got is we have such a deep bench of talented people, that want to serve this state. But again, the decisions are going to be made by the people. There's, he's insisted you will not be a candidate forced upon you in this coming election cycle. The people are going to, select who runs for governor. The people are going to select who runs to replace Gary Peters as one of our senators. The people, I will tell you right now, in the 2nd Congressional District, the people will decide who we elect to defeat John Molnar.
Yeah.
So again, I'm excited. You had a good time, you and Pat. And,
oh yeah.
And you mentioned Peggy. Peggy is a past honoree for the Legacy Award, and I'm glad she was able to go. Now that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Overall, what was your impression? Was it upbeat? Were people?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of energy in the room. I couldn't tell you. I mean, there was so many people there. It was an amazing event, and the number of speakers they did a really good job of keeping it fairly brief, and all of the speeches were very, very inspirational, and kind of keeping us on track for the next election, and doing a great job.
Are we starting to hear maybe a little bit from some of these potential candidates about, where their vision for the future is, versus, we keep hearing one of the things we hear about Democrats is all you're doing is running against Trump. I hope that we're hearing some more about this is what we're going to do for the people.
No, there was a lot of new ideas and a lot of new vision for what's coming in the next couple of years and how we're going to reorganize and get back to where we need to be to win again. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, again, Eric, you've always been there for us, and you're going to continue to be, and we really appreciate the fact, and I'm so happy that you got recognized, so you really deserved that. So
it was fun.
And on top of all that, I'm going to turn it over to Nate because he's got some other stuff to talk to you about.
Yeah, so I know that you are responsible for organizing this big protest coming up, the No Geo protest.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. It was an idea that I brought to John a couple of months ago, thinking that, there wasn't a whole, we know that Geo Group is reopening the North Lake immigrant detention facility down in Baldwin, and it's supposed to be in July. Nobody's really saying for sure exactly when it's going to happen, but I just felt that this was a good opportunity for us to help support immigrant community and our neighbors by making sure that we spoke out against the reopening of the facility. And so I went to John with the idea that maybe we should get all of the CD2 Democratic groups together to try and hold a big rally down in the area. Now, the facility itself is about a half a mile off of the highway back on a dirt road, so it wasn't a great place to do it. So we're going to be holding it at a township park just north of US 10 outside of Baldwin. And we have the park from 10 to noon. It has a pavilion, bathrooms. It's a great place to have a rally, and it's going to be next Saturday from 10 to noon. We're working in conjunction with a lot of other groups. We have ACLU of Grand Rapids. We have No Detention Centers Michigan is sending probably 2 speakers, and then our own Chris Lane is going to give a short talk as well. So we should have 3 speakers there. But really, the big thing is just to protest the reopening of the North Lake facility, because we know that these policies from the Trump administration of targeting immigrants just tears families apart, and it doesn't do us any good at all. It doesn't. And the jobs there, if you look up, I did a little bit of research on Geo, and it seems that they have about 50. They're the second largest detention for-profit prison system in the country. They have about 50 detention facilities in the U.S., and almost all of those are in small communities of less than 20,000 people, almost all of them. That kind of tells me what their goal is. Their goal is to basically hold the communities hostage through jobs and taxes, and they have a very poor record. If you look it up, I looked at about 4 different ratings places of what jobs were in the U.S., and Geo ranked like 2.6, 2.7 out of 5. So even their own people don't think that they're doing a good job. They have a terrible human rights violations record. They've had hunger strikes at the prisons. They've had lawsuits for using the people at the prison for low-cost labor, like basically slave labor. It's unsafe, and they're just not a good. It's just not a good way to have immigrant detention, or any detention for that matter. If we have our own prison here in Manistee, so we kind of have the same. It's an integral part of the economy, just like it is down there. But we have a prison that supports the community and has good permanent jobs for the community. That the immigrant facility in Baldwin has been open and closed like 4 times now, and every time they're open, they open for a year or 2 years, 3 years, and then they close again. So they hire all these people, mostly from outside of Baldwin. I think the last time there was 69 out of 300 people from Lake County that were hired, and all the rest came from outside. And they were open for a couple of years, and then when Biden was elected, he elected to not redo the contracts for the for-profit prisons. And so they closed again. They've been closed since 2022 again now, and now they're going to reopen. But it's all the same thing. It's just targeting and scapegoating immigrants and tearing apart families and who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to do the things that all the immigrants do that help pay into our tax base? It's just a terrible situation for everyone. Nobody benefits from it. Nobody.
I think you told me before the size of their budget. Isn't it an astronomical budget?
It's over $70 million a year that they're going to get on the contract from the Trump administration, and I think it's a 10-year contract, so it's close to $1 billion.
Yeah.
That they're going to get from the Trump administration for immigrant detention. And again, too, how many of those people that are going to be swept off the streets have had due process? How many are not just being picked up and swept into these prisons with no way to appeal, no way to complain or say, hey, we didn't do what we're being accused of doing? It's just, like I said, it's not a good situation for anyone. So we're going to go down there. We have a whole lot of people. We've had a whole lot of press. We have people coming from Arizona and hopefully people from Traverse City that are going to cover it from the press. and a few other places. We have press releases out to Grand Rapids and all kinds of places. So we're expecting a huge crowd of people and good coverage from the press. And we know we can't stop the prison, but we can sure as hell make it known what's going on. And that's the biggest thing is just to raise public awareness of what GEO is and how they operate and why it's not a good thing for anyone.
Yeah, this sounds like something that needs to be protested, and thank you for organizing this protest. So this is on Saturday, June 21st, beginning at 10 a.m.
Yes.
What's the name of the park again?
Weber Township Community Park.
Okay.
It's on M37, about 2.5 miles north of Baldwin, and we're going to get more information out. We're going to get some final information out this week to people in terms of the flyers. I'm going to ask John to do an email to everyone to give everybody. We're going to do carpooling. If anybody needs a ride, we're going to have at least a few people that are willing to take other people down. So we'll have some carpooling available.
Great.
Yeah, and I found it interesting. There was a great piece on the local news a couple nights ago.
Yeah, on 7 and 4, right?
Yeah, and I thought the interview with the sheriff, Rick Martin, in Lake County was very, very telling. He said, this place has been open and closed so much, and what it does to the economy of Lake County. Lake County is one of the poorest counties in the state of Michigan.
The poorest, right?
Okay, and yes, they need jobs, but to have a job and then have it jerked out from under you, for whatever reason, and then not really employing people that live there in the county, but bringing people in. When you bring somebody in, where are they living? And if they've just got, what is essentially a job that's temporary,
Right.
This is one of the worst things you can do to people. The people that work there, and it's also, I call it a concentration camp. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
And Lake County doesn't benefit either. I mean, the GEO went to the Lake County tax board last year and forced them to renegotiate their property taxes. So they took a huge hit on property taxes from the prison last year, and they're back trying to do it again this year, even though they're going to be open with a $80 million annual contract.
Plus, they're sitting on a $1 billion with a B no bid contract from DHS, Department of Homeland Security.
Right.
And, I find that to be a little bit, iffy at best,
Well,
So-
and I don't know if you're familiar with Tom Holman, who's running this whole thing, but he was a lobbyist, and he consulted with GEO before the Trump administration. So he's just basically a big part of the same corrupt administration and the same corrupt system that's bringing GEO back.
Yeah. It's like I say, I use it a lot. I talk about the 3 C's: chaos, corruption, and cruelty. That seems to define what we're seeing out of Washington, D.C.
It sure does.
nowadays. So, Eric, thank you so much. This is exactly what we need from people. Folks out there, you're looking for something to do. You're looking for some way to get engaged. This protest on the 21st is something that I highly suggest that you take part in. Thank you very much, Eric.
I know it's a big ask to do the No Kings today, and then a week later go down, drive. It's less than an hour to Baldwin. So, but we really need you. We really need you to get down there and support us and show the people of Baldwin that we actually do support them. We're not judging them. We're supporting them, and we want them to know that we're in their corner, and we want the immigrant community to know that we're in their corner too.
And this is right in the middle of the 2nd Congressional District. So again, I hope everybody that's in the 2nd Congressional District can, find the time to get there and again, join in the protest. And again, Eric, thanks again. Great job.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, Eric, I'd like to thank you for coming in today. We had a great conversation here. And I'd like to thank everybody watching for tuning in to the Politics is Local podcast. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.